Hello everyone, and welcome back to Knife Craze. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Gerber Freeman Guide folding knife, a heavy and weighty folder which will fill up your pocket and your hand. No matter what the task you're doing, this will get it done, thanks to its fine edge and thick size. The dimensions of this knife are as follows. It has an overall length of 8 inches, a blade length of 3 3/4 inches, a closed length of 4 1/2 inches, and a cutting area, which is where the blade starts here and goes all the way to the tip, of about 3 1/2 inches long. It has a rubber texturized grip, which offers a good grip when using a knife, and it works well along with the jimping on the bottom of the knife. So this knife is not going to slip out of your hand very easily. You can get your fingers into the finger grooves. It fits my hand really nicely, and thanks to that jimping along the grooves here, and thanks to the thick rubber grip, it really does fill up your hand almost as much as a full-size fixed blade. So this thing ain't going to be slipping out of your hand when you're hunting or skinning an animal, or using your knife for whatever you're using it for, cutting rope, whatever. It fills up your hand and you get a really good grip on that. Not only that, you have jimping on the back of the knife too. You have some here and some on the blade, and for some reason they even incorporated some down here. So it doesn't matter how you're holding it, like this, for detailed work, or maybe you got your standard grip on it like that, you'll always have some kind of jimping to help your finger get that little extra bits of grip on there that you need, especially if you're working in the rain or if you're skinning an animal, there's a lot of blood. It's nice to have that jimping there to just give you that extra assurance. And I think they incorporated the jimping down here, so if you want to hold it backwards or something, maybe you have that extra grip. I'm not really sure, but it's nice that they added it in. Not only that, this knife does have dual thumb studs, so whether you're a left or right-handed person, you can open it with ease. I am a lefty, but I can still open it easily with my right hand. Right? It is a liner lock, so personally when it comes to bigger folding knives like this, I prefer a lockback design. This is a liner lock, so it might not be as strong as a lockback, but it seemed to hold up so far, and I've just really put it through light use, so I can't really say if it's going to hold up through the toughest of tasks. It's also a little bit hard to move. It's really tight. I've had this knife for over a year now, and it's still a bit of a workout for my thumb to move that over. I got to apply a lot of pressure to move that. Another nice feature they added onto this knife, a lanyard ring. That's what it's called. Don't know why I forgot it. You have a lanyard ring on your knife here. So let's say you want to run some paracord through there, to make like a wrist strap. So when you're holding it, you can put it around your wrist, and then you have extra retention there to keep it in your hand. Or maybe you like to put a paracord charm on there. You can do whatever you want, right? It's nice that they added that. You actually don't see that a lot on folding knives. And I think the reason why this has it is because Gerber makes another knife exactly like this, only it's a fixed blade. The blade is a bit longer, the grip is a bit longer, and that knife also has the lanyard hole right here. So this knife has essentially just been took from that design and derived into a folding knife. I do want to point out some negatives about this knife now. It does rust. I don't know how it rusted, but it does. There's a rust spot right there. And on the other side, this is where all the serious knife lovers are going to cringe. But if the camera would focus. See all that? See all those rust spots? That's not good. The way I think it rusted, I was carrying it in the nylon belt sheath. This is the sheath you get from the knife from the factory. I had it in the small of my back. It was raining when I was out for a walk. This was on me, and I think some of the rain may have gotten onto the sheath, went through the, as they call it, ballistic nylon belt sheath, and caused the blade to have some rust. So, buyer beware, this knife is not rust resistant by any means. It is going to rust. Rather you get some moisture on it and don't dry it off, or don't notice that it's wet, or if you drop it into a swimming pool overnight, this knife is going to rust. I believe it's a high carbon steel. It doesn't have any stainless properties to it, so just something to note. It does have a really fine edge to it. I actually sharpened this on a stone, and it is sharp enough to shave hair, which I will demonstrate now. Okay, just waiting for the camera to focus. Okay, whatever. Camera ain't focusing, but I'm sure as you can see, right there on the blade, we do have some hairs right here, which have been popped off. I'm sorry, the camera ain't going to focus. But yeah, there are some hairs right here on the blade, so I sharpened it enough that it can become shaving sharp. So it's not a very hard steel to sharpen. But like I said, it will rust. Another thing to note is I don't think the blade edge is actually very tough, because somewhere along this blade I did see a deformation. I believe it's right there on top of my nail. I'm sorry, the camera really ain't focusing here, but right on top of where my nail is, there are some small deformations. This could have been from the sharpening process. Could have been from using it. I don't know what it is, but the blade did get a very small chip. So yeah, not a very tough knife. I mean, the lockup seems to be solid. There's like no blade play. But in terms of edge retention and rust resistance, this knife is really lacking. Which kind of makes me sad, because I really like this knife, I do. And I wanted it for a long time, and I was really happy when I got it. But now that I've known that, you know, this happens to it, the rusting, the chipping, my opinions of it are less than they were. Alright, so, uses. What are you going to use this knife for? Hunting is an obvious one. Because it has such a fine edge, by that I mean the edge is very thin from the factory, so it can get sharp like a razor for hunting. Yeah, it's a hunting knife. You can use it for skinning animals. I guess you could use it for EDC if in your area you are allowed to carry a knife of this size. You could use it for camping, obviously. Throw it in your bug-out bag, your hiking bag, and you could probably use it for making feather sticks. Obviously, you would never baton a folding knife, and if you do, well, expect your knife to be broken. But it has a wide range of uses, mostly ranging from EDC to outdoor. So this isn't really a tactical knife. It's not something for the mall ninjas to, you know, shoot up a school with. Not that you should be doing that anyway. Hold on a minute. Yeah, it's not something for a mall ninja to shoot up a school with. Not that you should be doing that anyway. So, what should this knife, what should this knife cost you? Well, I got this one for about 40 bucks on Amazon.ca. Prices may have changed since then. But I think that's a pretty fair price, considering you do get a pretty weighty knife. It is a good knife. It just has a small issue of rust spots and small deformations on the blade. But that chip could have been because of me when I was sharpening it. So, honestly, I'm going to rate this... I'm going to rate this 7 out of 10 stars, and I think that's pretty average because it is a solid build. It's just... it's prone to some kind of damage, which isn't too good. Well, that's my honest opinion of it. So there you go, guys. There's my review of the Gerber Freeman Guide folding knife. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you wish to see more content like this in the future, feel free to subscribe. It helped me out a lot. And have yourselves a great day. See ya.